welcome, students, as we prepare for another episode of DC Graduates. I'm one of your hosts here, Dr. Recommended Dose of Nerdiness, aka your nerd today. And as always, I am joined by my fellow doctorate graduate of the MC University, now making our dissertation together about why DC movies are amazing. Sly Cone MC. Sly, say hi to the people.
Hello. Hi, people. I'm so excited to be back for another episode of this wonderful show with you. I am
Gonna be a doozy.
so
This is gonna be a good one, man.
absolutely thrilled to talk about one of my favorite movies from my childhood. I owned this on DVD. It went on every single road trip with us. Of course, we are talking about the one and only the Batman Superman movie, which I had a revelation. Carlos dropped some breaking fucking news on me this week about this movie. Would you care to share what this movie actually is?
Yeah, it's just 3 episodes of Superman the Animated Series. And depending on what like list you look up, like on Max, it was like the middle of the season of season 2. Other lists will say it's like the first 3 episodes of season 3. But it's all over the place. But yeah, it's just 3 episodes. World's Finest 1, 2, and 3. They were, I think. There's stuff. There's no like trivia, so there's no spoiler for the question section. We don't have much when it comes to that again, other than talking about an amazing movie, which is the bulk of this episode because it is.
Mhm.
But it seems like it was like 3 episodes. I remember watching them on Saturdays, and I think they had an event. If I remember, it was like a Saturday morning event for like a straight hour and a half, with commercials and all that shit. But then eventually it did come out on DVD, which you said you've owned. I think it's only stuck on DVD. Obviously, not compiled into like a movie form for Max. But this is the first time you don't have to look anywhere else.
Yeah, it's streaming on Max, which is great. I remember it came in the DVD case. You remember those old DVDs where it was like cardboard on the front cover and it had a like L-shaped hook where
Oh,
you
and you
latched
just like
it
pop it
on?
open.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
had one of those. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You could tell if the company actually, because they didn't hold up as well as like the
Mhm.
plastic like clicky ones. You could tell if a company gave a shit about the movie. Depending on, it's like I was like, I'll just give him the cheaper one. It's like, but this is a decent movie. Just give him the cheaper one. How the mighty have fallen when it came to home media in the DVD era. We didn't get the big
Yeah.
chunky white boxes or orange box. It was like a Nickelodeon movie. Now you get this like little, like it was like a diary. Like it was like like a little. Doop.
Exactly. Oh, iconic.
But yeah, as Sly mentioned, we were talking about the Batman Superman movie, World's Finest, basically episode 1, 2, and 3. Which you watch it that way. It's nice when you're like, oh man, I got one more episode to finish the movie, and then you skip all the recap. It's like, oh, I have like 15 minutes left. I'm good.
Yeah.
I have no time. This is easy. And there's no commercials like it was back in the day, which is nice. But we have this directed by Toshihiko Masuda, which I wanted to bring up real quick because I saw this when I was just like going through. He does a lot. He doesn't direct too much, but he does a lot of storyboard art and stuff. Key animator on a bunch of anime. Is very highly anime. If you like inspired, you can tell the motions in this movie are beautiful. It looks amazing. But he's like key animator like Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Probably my favorite anime, which is I think the first time I've ever said it out loud. One Piece, Boruto, Naruto. I mean, any big anime you could think of, he's worked on Lupin the Third, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, other as well animation director and other like DC movies. I will get down to it, like Superman versus the Elite, which is a great one. He just is like all over the place. He's just like a jack of all trades when it comes to anime directing or helping out in the art department in
Awesome.
whatever shape or form. So he's an MVP. He puts a lot of work in
And
Masuda.
it shows.
Hell
It's a
yeah.
great looking movie.
But we have written by Alan Burnett, Paul Dini, Rich Fogel, Steve Gerber, Stan Berkowitz. The studio again is Warner
And it
Brothers
was
Television.
interesting. Sorry
Mhm.
about that.
No, go ahead.
Um, the first two, Alan Burnett and Paul Dini, got story by credits for the whole like World's Finest arc, and then those last three names wrote 1, 2, and 3. So it was
Oh,
interesting
separate.
that
Oh, okay. That's cool.
yeah,
That's cool. That's awesome.
yeah.
That's cool that they worked as like a, which I mean, to be fair, I mean, if you see them in the lens of these are episodes, makes sense because you wouldn't have one writer do 3 episodes. Like you would spread them out. Like, all right, you work on
Mhm.
this one while you work on this one, so we get the pipeline going. But if they're working together,
Exactly.
I wonder
It
how
was
would that
just
work.
surprising to see as a movie.
Yeah, because you get worried when you see so many writers sometimes.
Yeah.
But in this case, it makes sense because they're
It worked
television
out, yeah.
episodes.
Mhm.
The stars in this, which is damn, it's an all star cast. God damn, we got our
All-star
first
cast.
taste of Tim Daly as Superman, Dana Delaney as Lois Lane. This is the second time for Dana Delaney because she played Audrey ugh, what's her last name? God, why?
Beaumont.
Beaumont.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
Andrea Beaumont, the Phantasm in that movie. Kevin Conroy, of course. Mark Hamill, Clancy Brown. God,
Oh,
Clancy
yeah.
Brown as Lex Luthor, so good. Arlene Sorkin, the original Harley Quinn, amazing. Lisa Edelstein from House. As I totally forgot
Okay,
about this
I
too
don't
when
know
I
her
looked it
from
up.
House.
Man,
I know her as she plays Gwen, who is TK's mother on 911 Lone Star. So when I saw her in the credits, I was like, "Oh my god, it's Gwen!"
what? I'm like I'm so used to her in House, like. Oh, so now she's playing someone's mom. Oh, still, I'm down.
She's notably, I all of my thoughts are about the 911 universe. So
Fair.
when I saw her, I was like, "Oh, she's in Lone Star. That's great."
That's great. She's an awesome actress. She's an amazing actor. Bob Hastings, Ephraim Zabatis Jr., Robert Costanzo. Pulling so much work, Robert, in this movie. We talked about that pre-show. Just very few lines.
I love that he shows up, he gets a couple lines as Harvey Bullock, and then he dips out, and he's making a paycheck. We love that for him. He's
Yep.
killing it every time. Every time he shows up, I'm like, "Damn, that was a great line read."
He puts his all into it, honestly. The
Oh, yeah.
hate-filled like lines that he has at toward Batman, you feel it. You feel it. Even if it's like just too long. All right. So I hit us with the plot.
This is a great one. Strapped for cash, the Joker offers his services to multi-billionaire Lex Luthor by saying he could kill Superman with his new kryptonite statue. Trouble is, not only is the Joker an untrustworthy criminal lunatic, but he can never get too far away from Batman. And so, Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent meet, in and out of costume, each one wary of the other, but nowhere nearly as explosive as when Luther and the clown get on each other's nerves. To say nothing of henchwomen in hand to hand combat and a battle royale with killer robots. Oh, and Bruce dates some reporter named Lois. Thank you so much, Ray, for that incredible plot
Again.
summary. It had me
Again. It was
cackling as
very
I was
like
listening
but
to
like
that.
sitcom-y. Like what wacky adventures are Batman and Superman gonna get into this week? Don't forget to tune in on ABC Family. Like that's what it felt like. Shout out Ray. Shout out Ray. This episode we have comic book characters including Superman, the Man of Steel himself, Batman, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, Joker, Mercy Graves. Shout out to Mercy, and Harleen Quinzel, as you put her government name on here.
I forgot about
Um,
her name. Sorry about that. I
no,
really
I love
did.
it. No, that's fine. I mean, technically, that's her name. And depending how much of her psychosis is showing, that's how she's gonna go by.
Fair enough.
Let's. I want to start with the fun trivia thing that didn't actually really. I couldn't work into a question. I tried. It just seemed too difficult for no reason. Um, this is the first instance in anything comic book related media that we get the connotation that if you hold onto kryptonite or if you are in possession of it for too long near your physical body, you will die from radiation poisoning. Um, this is the first time, and then would be adapted to Justice League animated series with Lex. It would be adapted to. They touch upon it in Smallville. There's like hints and nods, and then in the comics where he would get hurt as well. So this is like one of the first times we actually they pick something from the not the first time, but like they pick something specifically from the show, it'd be like, damn, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, that wouldn't make sense. It's radiation. Like it would hurt a human as well, just not so pertinently as it does Superman at that moment. It's over time. And they mentioned, I think, and this is a good context. So I think I put this in my notes. We kind of get a time frame for how old they are, our characters. So they said it's been 30 years since they've come into contact with this jade that they turned into this dragon. So Superman's what, roughly around 31, then 30, 31, depending on like how you count that. Batman's probably mid 30s if they usually portray him older for some reason. So he could be like around
Yeah, like
30 to
35.
35. And then Lois is contemporary, so she's 30. That's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got an idea. And then that kind of also makes sense when you see Jimmy and the rest of the cast that they're like younger. Like Jimmy would be like 18, 19, calling him Mr. Kent. Now it's not
Yeah,
weird, like, but you're an adult, sir, too.
yeah.
That's weird. That's a cool little thing I wanted to bring up because yeah, it's one of the first times we see that. But let's get to the plot specifically of this movie, and we're going to touch upon our one of our subsections in the Andrea Romano roundup. Shout out to Andrea Romano, of course, the seminal audio director for so many of these series, and I would say the modern reason we have amazing animated TV or movies today. Um, what did you think about the overall plot of like Joker just needing money? That seemed weird,
I love it
but
so
it
much.
worked. Yeah.
It works. Because when I think I mentioned this previously, when I think of Joker, especially the backstory I think of is typically um Killing Joke Under the Red Hood, like that
Hmm.
era Joker, where we see him, you know, as a young guy, wants to make it like entertainment, is struggling to make ends meet, and is just like desperately in need of money, and that's how he gets like roped into gang life, right? As you do. What do you do in Gotham if you need money? You
There's a mafia
join a
out
heist
there.
with a gang.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you do. And that like setting him on his path towards, insanity,
Mhm.
and then the villain costumed life. And so him being like, well, shit, like this plan I had failed and now I'm broke. Might as well go swindle like the guy in the town over. Like
Yeah.
it makes sense.
He's right. He got money. I'll hit him up real quick.
Exactly.
I feel like that plot worked specifically in his universe, especially with the backstory that we got in Master Phantasm of him being in the mob. So he would be money motivated, specifically this version of Joker.
Exactly.
He does seem like a kind of mix of. Have you read the book Three Jokers?
Yeah.
Okay, so that old school Joker, like the first one, the older one that they spoilers if you haven't read that book. There's three Jokers in the DC universe. It's weird, and then it just got retconned like I think a week ago.
Mhm.
But the older Joker who's like kind of old mobster ish, and then that middle Joker which is like kind of like a comedian, ha ha, yuck yucks, but he still murders people. It's like he's a mix of those two, which I kind of enjoy. Yeah, it works. It works in this instance. I think it's really interesting. Um, I love that. I feel like Batman has done enough research on Superman to not be like he notices that's kryptonite, but like you didn't think about it beforehand. Like you don't have like some kind of like gadget or like he's like, oh wait, this is kryptonite. Like I
Mhm.
know. Like what how do
Yeah, it
you
was like some sort of inkling, but
Yeah.
also okay, let's talk about the Dread Dragon because
Mhm.
I started this movie and I was like petrified. I was like, I loved this movie as a kid. I don't know if I remember anything about the plot or the story. Like, I was terrified that I wasn't going to remember anything. And then, like, the first episode starts, we cut in, it's the heist, and I see the statue of the Jade Dragon, and I went, I remember this movie. I remember this movie perfectly. Like that instantly put me back in this movie and I was like, "Damn. That's just like such a like iconic visual that I was like, I know
it
right what this is about. I'm
Yeah,
right
it's
back."
unique. It's unique, and the fact that like Joker is smart enough too to pick up and like, oh, I know what this
Mhm.
is. I know what this
Yeah.
can do. I got it. Like he's out stealing for money. No, he's
But
not.
also I know what I can do with it to improve
Hmm.
myself. Yeah. It's brilliant.
I do love that. Um, Wanted to touch on because really early on in this movie, once Joker gets into Metropolis proper, we meet one of my favorite characters in the DC universe, Mercy Graves, and unfortunately, she
Oh
gets knocked out
my
right
god.
away. But
I love her so much. Like, so
she's
much.
such a badass. I
So
love Mercy, and I love Mercy's like relationship with Lex. Like Lex technically
mhm.
doesn't need a bodyguard. He's pretty fit on his own. You could tell to a certain degree, but like she's like, "Nah, I got you. Don't
Especially
worry."
in that, like, the bedroom scene where they're, like, knocking down the door and they break in, and he's like, "Get the fuck out." Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's already taken care of,
yeah.
like
First of all, she couldn't stop him. You motherfuckers can't stop him.
yeah.
Get out. Leave me
Not like
alone.
doing anything. Yeah.
I just love Mercy so much, and I love this like this running gag throughout the whole movie, and we'll touch upon it when they like all the scenes. But like, just her and Harley just they hate each other. They just hate each other so
Absolutely
goddamn much.
going at it in the background. Brilliant.
Love it, and I just love that she. This is the only thing I don't know much about her character. If she was like similar to Harley, where she was created in the in the cartoon, and then ported over to the comics. I believe she's always been a thing in the comics, or at least maybe
I
mid late
thought she
80s.
was started in the comics.
I think so. I think there's
Um,
more popularity within the series because they pulled the Superman anime series, like the Batman anime series at this time, pull a lot from a lot of the comic books, and they do a really good job of adapting
yeah.
those storylines or special episodes or things like that. They do a really good job of that. But this specifically, like having Mercy and just showing how capable she is. She is a badass. I love some iterations in the comics where they portray her as an Amazon, like she's from Themyscira,
Mm,
and yeah,
fascinating.
I forget what series it is, but there is one or two I believe that portray her as like a former Themyscirian. And she's like, "Nah, I live on Earth. I'm protect this bald dude for some reason. I kind of like him. He's like a pet."
Exactly.
Yeah, and I love everyone else can like kind of fail Lex, and like he'll get upset, but like there's something about Mercy. He's like, "Nah, I got your back."
Mercy. Yeah.
Yeah, which made it not to. There's gonna be episodes where we're gonna dog on the DCU, the live action universe. They did such an injustice, no pun intended, to Mercy in Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. I was so
I'm gonna
excited.
be honest,
Yeah,
I forgot she was in that movie.
yeah.
You said that, and I went,
It happens for no
"Oh,
reason. Like, yeah, she just dies.
God."
She
She's
just
just
dies. He would not sacrifice.
the
That's
love of fridging. Sarcasm.
listen. Lex will kill a lot of people. He will. He wouldn't kill someone that loyal. Nah, nah, nah. He not Mercy. Not Mercy, man. And that's the one thing.
Literally anyone
Ugh.
else.
Yeah. Anyone else? He's like, nah, nah. You got my back. You with me. We ride or
She's
die.
family, and we all know how Lex feels about family, for good or bad.
Honestly, yeah. He's honestly a pretty good family guy. Surprisingly. Yeah. If you're loyal, man, he's got your
Lex
back.
Luthor, certified family guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Now aliens, fuck them. Get off my planet.
Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that was such a. I remember literally being in the theaters, seeing her on screen. I was like, "Oh, this is so cool. We got Mercy Graves. Like, this is gonna be awesome." And then like they just kill her off. And then she has this like little moment where she realizes Lex is just sacrificing her. I'm like, man, fuck this movie. I'm so upset. And even the Ultimate Edition, whatever, does the movie a little more better. I don't want to say justice because that's another pun, but it makes it a little more bearable. But that scene still like drags it down for me. I'm like, God damn it. It just sucks. Mercy's such a badass character. And you get it. You get her in this that she's so badass.
Mhm.
Um
Very hot.
yeah.
I must say it. She's
Listen,
great in that. I was
that
like, damn.
you would look at her outfit and you were like, there's no way that's working. Stockings with the short skirt and like the basically Kato from Green Hornet outfit. She makes it work and she's able to fight in it. Nah.
I
That
mean,
that's a
again,
level.
it's animated, but still, we can enjoy
Mhm.
it.
That's a level of badass that's like, and she has heels on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, to fight in heels, it's ridiculous, ridiculous. But I love this scene. I think you have a quote about it too. When Harley and Joker pick up Lex, because there's a couple things in this scene. This scene's perfect on so many different levels. But let's start with your. I was dying at your notes when I read them earlier.
Okay, yeah, because once again, that was a scene that I had like a visceral reaction to. I was like, oh man, like that was iconic in my childhood. And it's like Harley just knocks the fuck out of Mercy, kidnaps
Mhm.
Lex, and you see just like a leg with the pants being pulled up on the Joker.
The
And
shaved,
Harley
very
goes,
feminine
ooh,
leg.
mama, check out the cute hitchhiker. And my thought was, I was like, "Wow, like, that scene had to be indicative of something." I don't know if it was the asexuality or the bi panic, but it was indicating something in my youth.
There's like a little spark, like, oh, oh. I
Little
hope this
something
doesn't
clicked
affect me
there. I was
later
like,
on.
"Hmm."
Hope this doesn't turn me gay. Uh oh.
And I think that's the perfect transition into the only bullet point I put down for our conversation themes tonight, which is the sexual tension of it all.
Horny ass movie.
This movie is so fucking horny. Let's talk about it.
Jesus, man. Between Bruce and Lois, when they
Oh
finally
yeah.
meet, and like,
Canonically, they're
yeah,
dating. They're
yeah.
having fun.
It's only
There's
like a week
fun,
and he moves
flirty, and
fast.
thriving. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bruce is like, this is one woman who I actually enjoy spending time with. Might as well enjoy it while I can.
Yeah, exactly. You know, well, I was trying to get closer to Superman because she always gets caught in and stuff, but like, I kind of like her. She's kind of fun. She's feisty.
Yeah.
And
And it has the double benefit of pissing off Clark.
yeah, that's just like icing on the cake. Specifically, especially
Mhm.
after he initially meets Clark Kent, it's like, I don't like this guy. This guy's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Uh, between all of that, Harley and Joker, obviously, their sexual attention is off the charts, and there is just this.
But also Harley and Mercy, gotta
Yeah,
say it.
no, there's a little like if you left the room, like if Lex
Oh
and
yeah.
Joker left the room, it was like, hey, what are y'all doing? No, nothing, nothing. Weren't y'all
Mhm.
fighting? Don't worry about it.
Yes, fighting.
Yes,
Uh-huh,
Mercy, where'd you get
totally.
that hickey from? Don't worry about it. It's a bruise from her lips. Yeah, just shut up. There's so much here, and there is again Harley and Joker like that line. There's a line later on when they're interrogating someone. It was like, where is Joker? It's like probably making haha with Harley Quinn, and that
Yeah.
is in the movie in the episode. Like, did not get cut. That's on a
Canon.
Saturday morning. Yeah.
That's one of the moments that I was like, ooh. In the like late 90s, they were really like, how many jokes can we sneak in here for the adults?
Oh yeah. There's an infamous episode that was then adapted. Mad Love. Are you aware of this episode or the book at least?
I don't know.
So Mad Love is the book at least retells the origin of Harley. It's the first time we find out she's Dr. Harleen Quinzel and all this stuff. They also there's also an episode of Batman the animated series like that, and there's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
she's in
I just see the
lingerie
cover.
in the episode itself. She's in lingerie, and she actually makes the line like, "Don't you want to ride your Harley, Mr. J?"
Mhm.
I was like, "Okay, all
Mm,
right,
mhm.
yeah, yeah, you guys do this."
Alright, we went there.
Yeah. I also love we'll get back to some other moments obviously, but we're specifically talking about the sexual tension that Clark has, and there's a quote in when we get to drama class, but Clark just is like, if you don't get your man whore ass away from my Lois, I will beat you.
Right.
Like
Yeah, the
no one else is a problem. Bruce is a
antagonism,
whore.
yeah.
Like straight up. We
Bruce,
don't slut shame here.
especially, like, Brucey Wayne, like, the persona,
Yep.
like, absolutely, get him the fuck out. I just love, like, Lois and Bruce are having a great fun time together, they're enjoying life. Lois is obviously very hung up on Superman,
Superman
love that for her.
specifically too, yeah.
Superman specifically, yeah, and Clark and Bruce fucking hate each other and they just need to kiss about it. Like that would
Just
solve all
once.
their problems.
Just once. Especially at the
Just
end. It's
smooch
like
on the lips and
odd
you'd feel
flirting.
better. They're they're flirting the entire fucking movie. I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys.
You have a line in your notes where you mentioned this is like an enemies and lovers storyline in a
Oh yeah,
book.
I said the enemies to lovers is troping or whatever. Where is that? That was a great line. All right, I'm gonna find it. You get your
Yeah.
next point.
But oh my god, that is, especially there's a, and toward the end when they're actually friends, and like, oh, I can't
Mhm.
see through the building. Like Lexus laced all the buildings with lead. He's like, why did you try the direct approach? And he punches them, and then Clark just
Now
bows.
you're getting it.
Yeah, yeah. And he's like, now you're getting it. I was
The
like,
fucking dramatic ass.
sir, just take him. God damn.
I said, God, the rivals to lovers do be troping.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was great. And
Which
then, it's speaking of the triad of it all, at the end, they're Bruce and Clark are talking about how like Lois is obviously like really into Bruce and really into Superman and not their other two identities. And they're like, it's too bad what do they say? Too bad we can't mix and match. I'm like, that's just a threesome, honey. Like
yeah, that's
you
all it
can.
is.
You can have that.
You can't. And I feel like someone added that joke for all of us as we grew up and like, wait a minute. Y'all, what y'all gonna do? God forbid you get to I forget who the writer is, but one of the more recent Superman comics when Batman and Catwoman are engaged for a little bit
Mm.
and they go on that double date with Clark and Lois. And there is this they have to wear costumes. So they switch into each other's actual costumes. And it's sweet at
Love
first, but
that.
you know for a fact Catwoman was eyeing up Lois too. You want to
As
talk
she
about Mr.
should.
Steal Your Girl? She
Ooh.
Miss Steal Your Girl. She's going to steal Lois from
Mhm.
Clark, and she could do it. And I don't think anyone would be upset.
Lena and Lois. That's an interesting choice.
Mm-hmm.
They would be great together. I'm here
Yeah,
for it. I
because
support
there's
it.
like there's definitely some like lines of encouragement from like woman to woman, like, oh, because like Lois is like, oh, I had a baby, and so I feel like out of shape and all this stuff. Like I still haven't recovered, and Sylvia's like, oh my god, you look amazing in this suit, and like she gives her the Catwoman suit. She's like, oh, she's like, you're busting out of it or whatever. I'm like, all right,
All
I
right.
know Catwoman is bi, so like
Uh-huh.
it's
Oh
just
yeah.
like, hey, I'm supporting another woman. I got you. You're hot. I'm hot. We got this. We're gonna kill it tonight. Or hey, you're hot. I'm hot. Let's stay back for a minute. Listen,
That was good.
yeah, I can see Bruce and Clark being like, yo, where the women at? Where are our wives? I've been waiting for a while. And Clark be like, you don't want to know. I can hear everything.
Oh my gosh. Fucking Clark eavesdropping on everything. Speaking of, the line where he just goes, Bruce Wayne, you peaked.
What?
What
What a
the
line
fuck
for
is
Batman
that?
to say. You peaked. You peaked.
I was
What
dying.
playful ass banter is Batman going
It's
with? You peaked.
flirting.
It is,
He's
man.
flirting.
God forbid later when he puts the tracker on Superman, Superman's getting changed. He's like basically almost naked
He's
on the
sitting
phone with
there with the
Lois,
fucking binoculars.
fucking peeping Tom, just staring at him, and that little smile and the little.
Ugh, iconic.
It's so good. And yeah, and you take that like subtext of that away, right? That scene in general is just awesome, just to show how much you like. Oh, you're an asshole. You looked under my mask. Fuck you. I know where you live, bitch.
I know where you live, indeed.
Yeah, and I'm with your girl right now. What are you gonna do about it? Like Bruce
I
is
think
like,
my last
yeah, go ahead. Go
point
ahead.
on that, yeah, was the at the end where they're like saying their goodbyes and being all like flirty and shit. Bruce is like, she's all yours now if she can handle that. I was just like, y'all really aren't beating the throuple allegation.
Not at
Like,
all.
it's so obvious.
It is. It is. And like I like when like people have fun with this, whether it could be like canonical, like we talked pre-show from another marvelous universe in the comic book section that just got denied, which is fuck you, Top Rover. It's canon. Um or something fun like this. Like let's have fun with it. Obviously, there's dissertations, there's books about, and so many smarter than me people talking about, the gay undertones that come with superheroics in general. Um
Mhm.
Batman and Robin specifically, when it comes to that relationship that they
It
have.
depends on how they're written, but sometimes it do be fruity.
Yeah. And I remember like especially back in the day, like once I got old enough to realize, what being gay is and everything like that, and like what queerness is in the world. I remember seeing like videos and stuff and kind of video essays about like the was it 60s Batman TV series, how like a lot of people just assumed that they were like, oh, it's gay undertones, and they were this was the 60s, so everyone's angry about
Yeah.
it instead of like embracing kind of like the fun, like cartoony nature of that. Obviously, the show was very successful and spawned many animated movies, regular movies, and things like that, and careers for a lot of those people. But there is just like a gay undertone that comes with superheroics, and you can either fight that tide or you can just have fun with it, the way this movie does to a certain.
This movie embraces it so hard. I don't know if they intended to, but they certainly did.
Yeah, and just also like I think the sexualized nature of these people in spandex fight crime, like tight ass outfits, they're around each other all the time. Of course, Bruce is gonna look at Wonder Woman that way. Why not? And Wonder Woman, he should be glad that Wonder Woman's even looking at him. This goddess.
She's actually letting him exist in her space. Like,
Exactly.
he should be honored.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're breathing her
But
air, sir.
speaking of the gays, I feel like when we get Brucey Wayne doing his I'm a fucking billionaire thing with Lex, I felt like he was checking out Lex a little bit, and maybe that's just me, but I loved that for him. I was like, all right, I see you.
Yeah, I feel like he's like he only knows how to communicate with humans outside of the mask by flirtation.
Right? Mhm.
He's like,
Yeah.
I watch a
Right.
lot of these movies, these like rom coms when I was in the mountains of Nepal. I think this is how you speak to people. Well, sometimes Mr. Wayne, that's how you speak to people. Other times, you just say hi.
Yeah. I
It's like
love
flirtatious
that,
all the
like,
time.
mhm. It and it really plays into the idea that, like, Batman is the real person and Brucey is the, like, mask.
Yeah,
Because, like, when he's, like, playing at Bruce Wayne, he literally is just flirting with every single person he meets. Like,
yeah,
that's his that's his baseline, like, script. Like, if we wanna talk about the autism coding, um
yes,
maybe that save that for another day. But like his like default script and how he interacts with people is just straight up flirting. And honestly, I love that for him.
yeah. Because you think about too the success rate he has with it for getting what he needs as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
He's probably like, oh my god, I no one knows I'm Batman. I get it through these parties. I get all this information from these rich assholes who are probably criminals, just because I'm flirting. Like, and then it's like, well, can I apply it everywhere? It's like it is scripting, and
Yeah.
it really is that. It is like, well, it works here, and we try here. All right, it didn't work here. Okay, not here. Okay, mark that one off the list. Not at funerals.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Don't do it.
I love you, Carlos.
Because that's how it would work. That would be Bruce at a funeral. We're
How it
like,
works. Yeah.
sir, that's
Mhm.
that. My husband just died. Sorry, sorry.
Another time or place.
Gotcha. Maybe next time. No, sir. No. But and that's funny because I think a lot of these series, as we mentioned, has this sexual tension. They play it up really well, and they for a Saturday morning specifically. Now we're not talking about Cartoon Network at like 8 p.m. We're not talking about like stuff where they can get away with. They got away with a lot during this
Yeah.
time slot of like I think it was like 10, 11, depending on what season it was, like in the morning on a Saturday. Of course, like no parents, like, yeah, whatever, just shut the fuck up. Watch it, who cares?
It's
Leave
PG
me
friendly,
alone while I
right?
drink my coffee. Please, God. I get that now. It's a parent, by the way. Uh, But I think you get these subtle hints of like whether it be sexuality, queerness, or anything like that, where violence it comes to. They did a really good job with this movie. And then I wanted to touch on moving on from that, some of the awesome scenes that I picked out because one,
Mhm.
this is like really the first meeting of Lex and Joker within this Dini
Yeah.
verse, and I have a note here because Lex does not seem afraid by him. Like Joker grips him
Absolutely
up at
not.
one point, and
Completely
there's like a nervousness
unfazed.
to it because someone's touching him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Lex always seems like a germaphobe. Like you know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah.
don't touch me. That's weird. Why are you
Which
touching
makes
me?
the friggin' Mr. Clean line even
It's
funnier.
so good.
That killed me.
It's so good. Joker, man. Mark Hamill has so much material to work, and he just excels. Everyone in this series does, in both series, does a really good job. But like, nothing can compare to Mark Hamill and what he's able to do within these movies or TV series or anything as Joker. He just, it's like that you could tell everyone has fun writing for him and just go wild. Who cares?
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't think Lex is afraid of Joker at all.
No.
And I
And
mean,
I
obviously he's a
think it
bad guy,
speaks
but
more to Lex's like infallibility, or at least his belief in himself being infallible. I think he's just like simply unfazed because he thinks that no matter what, he's going to come out okay. Like he doesn't see the Joker as like a threat to him at all.
no,
Uh, Should he? Probably. I
yeah,
mean,
that bites him in the butt
but he
multiple
doesn't, you
times
know.
in this universe, like literally. But he's not afraid of it. Like even when he's strapped to the he's like afraid that he's gonna die, but not necessarily of Joker, which is kind of crazy because there's so
Exactly.
many people that Joker like just he scares people. Like so many people are afraid of him
He
specifically.
freaking should.
Yeah, he kills you with a gas that makes you laugh till you die. Like that's insane.
Mhm.
That's absolutely insane the
Or
way
a
to die.
freaking crowbar.
Jesus, yeah, yeah. And you're a kid. You know what the
We'll talk
fuck?
about that another day. We'll get there. But yeah, no, this movie has so many iconic scenes in it. Obviously, like the Dread Dragon I mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
stealing that was incredible. But the other big scene that really stood out to me is when Joker goes to take over. Oh, what's his name? The mobster, where he's like,
Yeah,
"I
it's like
should no longer
starts with a
question
C.
you."
Yeah,
Carloni.
yeah, Carloni. I think that. I think you're
Oh,
right. Yeah,
is
no, I
it?
think you're right. I think it's
Let's see.
Carloni.
I did realize that I had the IMDb up right next to me. Of course, he's not listed in the cast.
He's named. It's definitely. I think you're right. I think it's Carloni, but he's definitely named.
He is.
And he just that scene is especially surprisingly.
Carlini.
Oh,
Look,
Carlini. Oh, okay.
Caesar Carlini.
It's
My old
Italian.
pal.
It's fine.
Well, I haven't seen you since. Wait, I've never seen you, have I? You need to get out more. With the fucking pogo sticks
He
and the
kills that
little the
dude.
flower brooch.
Yeah. She murders that guy, and there's no camera cut
Mhm.
at all to like. And I've
Nope.
noticed this, and I knew of this from a movie we'll cover on later in this specific like Dini-verse movies, Batman Beyond. That there's a PG version, a PG-13 version. The one of the things that differentiate animation and a lot of stuff is the violence that can cause you to become PG-13, specifically if it happens to be violence toward women. There's once you see it, I see it all the time now. There's a camera flash when a woman gets hit or something like that, or something specifically what they consider uber violent will happen. A flash will happen. There is no flash when Harley jumps off the second story or like this second floor and pogos this man in the face. He's dead.
Ah, he's
Like
dead dead.
I can't imagine what that fucking body looks like. There's a lot of crazy shit that happens in Metropolis, don't get me wrong. Like I know it's not like Gotham is crazier, but like I'm
Mhm.
sure Turpin and everyone else in the Metropolis police department looked at that and was like, what the fuck happened here?
Okay, the thing is, like, Gotham is crazy, right? You've got crazies. But also, Metropolis has people like consistently destroying like skyscraper buildings.
Hmm.
Like, how many people are just getting crushed by a fucking building
Oh
falling
yeah,
on them?
yeah,
So many.
yeah. Because Superman can only save so much. You know, he can only grab so many goddamn buildings, and he can only do so much like of this. But like a pogo stick to the face, I'm sure there's a couple cops who are like, what? Like, there's a rookie in Gotham who's like, oh yeah, this is just I was born here. This is a Tuesday.
This is nothing, yeah.
Yeah. Why did you talk ill of Joker? You should have done that.
Exactly.
But
I love
that
the
was
scene. I love
so
where he's
brutal.
like, "You need a new leader? I nominate me." And then Harley is like, "I second it."
Yeah, there's one
That
person.
whole banter. I was just like,
There's one person that
so
defies it too, and she's like, "What did you
yeah,
say?" Like, sir, your friend has his nose coming out the back of his skull. I would be
yeah.
quiet,
He
sir.
just got absolutely crushed by a pogo stick, and you think you objecting is gonna change anything? All
No,
right,
sir.
it's a
No,
choice.
sir. Um, I wanted to point out here. There's a really subtle cameo, character wise, and it's a character I love. He's like Superman's number one fan in Metropolis. He owns this dive bar, which we get to see for a moment when Clark is looking for leads on the Joker. Bilbo. I
Yeah.
absolutely love Bilbo, and I forgot that he's voiced ever so briefly by Brad Garrett in this, and it's a perfect voice for this character because there's someone from the comics that I remember reading. I'm like, I wonder what he would sound like. And the second you hear Brad Garrett's voice come out, and he's a well-meaning bruiser bar owner in Metropolis, and I just love. He's like, hey, just keep an eye on the Joker. You're like, well, which one? There's a lot of Jokers. I was like so
It's
innocent. I'm like,
fun.
God damn it, I love you, Bilbo.
Love him
God,
so
I
much.
love him so much. I love that we get
What
that for a
a
moment.
yeah, no. When you were talking about how like iconic like the sound of his voice was with like reading the comics and imagining them. One thing I noticed on this movie specifically, I think it happened in the previous movies as well, but it's like the first time it really stood out to me. I'm obviously watching with captions on, but when they're like describing the audio throughout like the fight
Mm-hmm.
sequences, they use like the like very classic like comic, you know how you have the like flash, clang,
Mm-hmm.
swoosh, zap or whatever. That's like literally all of the description of the audio you
I
get
noticed that too. I had
within
to put it on
1 minute.
captions because the the living room had a sensory overload issue for my wife. So I was like, well, I got to get this done for
Why
the
not?
show. So I've seen this before. I'll lower it as much as I can and put captions on. The kids are yelling at each other, so I was like, one of you gotta be quiet because you're gonna die. Like your mother's on the edge. We all need to be quiet right now. But yeah, I noticed that, especially when Batman comes down and he's fighting one of the like spider robot things that we see, and you see the word zip as he's using his
Yeah,
like his grappling hook to zip across, and it's like, oh, that's cool.
so good.
Shout out to the captions people, man. They when they put in work and it's not just like whatever. Like I was like, what is the one? Um, there's some movie I forget what it was. It was like speaking um unknown language. It was like Spanish or something. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, God
Yeah,
damn, you
so
fucked up.
unknown.
Yeah.
And like sometimes it'll just say like speaking foreign language, like which one? Would love to know. Guess I never will. But unknown language? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was like, wow. You guys like it was 3 o'clock in the morning. You're like, I'm not finishing this. I'm just gonna go to bed. Like, you have a job, sir. I understand you're an intern. You have a job. Okay.
Yeah.
Um I love the next scene that happens after we meet Bilbo and all this other stuff with the taking over like kind of the mob family. When Batman's interrogating the mobster that got out of Gotham and Metropolis, and then we have our first physical encounter with Superman and Batman. When Batman tosses Superman in that jujitsu throw, I immediately
Ugh,
thought of I thought of
him.
of Mass of the Phantasm. Like, damn, he really been working on that throw for a while. Ever since Andrea threw him on the ass. And then secondly, like Clark's face midair, like, what the fuck is going on? It's like there's like a
Oh,
shock
funny.
and awe and anger that's all hits in one, like in two panels. And then I love his line. We didn't need it for drama class, but I wrote it here. He's like, I heard you were crazy, but I didn't know you were stupid. Like, I love Superman, but that's such a dick thing to say to someone. It's like, I am above you, sir. I can fly. How dare
The
you touch me?
rivals do be rivaling.
I didn't know you were stupid. God damn, Clark. Chill, man.
Mhm.
God, and then yeah, I love the peaking. This is where we get you peaked. It's such a weird 13-year-old line. Too. Also, if you think about it, Bruce's like guard is completely down around Superman and he feels more comfortable as Batman, obviously. That would be something he's stuck as a child for the most part, right? Like a teenager.
Yeah.
That would be something a teenager would say. Like, oh, you peaked. Not a grown ass man. No grown ass like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Don't look at you cheated. So it's like something else will come out. Like, nah, you peaked.
Mhm. So good.
I did love that. And then yeah, we I did have a line here of like when they're talking about, Bruce, and you have there's a drama class thing about his history. I wrote the look that Clark gives is, "Hey, you don't get your whore ass away from Lois, I swear to God." Again, we don't
Really.
slut shame, but like Bruce is a whore.
Oh,
Like at least
but Clark
this
does.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is sir. I'm from the Midwest. West. We slut shame here, sir.
Right.
And I feel like that's only because of that Brucey Wayne. That's how good his cover is. That like Superman is like, no, 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 you're a whore. I know of this. I've read the newspapers over there. I read Vicky Vale. You stood her up.
Yeah. What an icon.
Oh God. I'm ashamed when I talk. She's. I don't think she's in any of these movies, right? I'm just thinking about Kim Basinger in that movie.
Hmm.
Iconic, iconic.
Right after we get the Clark and Bruce speed going at each other, we get the Joker kidnapping, and during that scene, Bruce like gets like pushed out a window and grabs onto the side. And
Dude,
every time they do that, my shoulders hurt so bad just watching it. I'm like,
I saw it and I'm like, oh, they're gonna address like he's got like a separated shoulder or something. And like, no, he just gets up.
he
And
just
then he
gets
has the thing later on. Did you notice that he the after the one explosion, like in the thing with the kryptonite, he batarangs the Batwing with one arm and just holds on as it like pulls him. I'm like, Jesus
lifts
God.
them up. Yeah, every time my shoulders cringe
I want
for
to know what
real.
his traps look like.
Fucking huge, probably.
You like touch him, you get hurt. Just you poke him like, ah, goddamn. Yeah, I saw that happen and I was like, oh, this is gonna hurt. Like I've seen Batman Begins. I totally forgot. Like he was like, boom. He's like, oh no, he's fine. Oh shit.
Fine.
Oh God.
I don't remember why I wrote this. Um, it must have been like right after the first like um Joker warehouse fight scene. Because my notes before are the line where Joker's like, "Silly me, I forgot the acid," and then dumps it on
On
Clark.
Superman. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Feel free to expire anytime." And then I just wrote, "Bruce is such a dramatic bitch. I don't know what he did. By this point, I forgot. But I think the point stands."
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. I'm trying to think if it's that scene specifically where he's like, I told you to expect the unexpected. Like he's just chastising Superman. It's like, all right, not right now, sir. Not right now. I do love that. I do love that scene. That poor Superman. It makes him look like an idiot. Does not help that like a lot of people who aren't Superman fans always think he's stupid. That he's all brawn, no brains. But like it's to be fair, this is his first time going against Joker. Like he really does not know what to
Yep.
expect when fighting this. And you're not supposed to. Like this dude does he's a dog chasing a card. Well, how Heath Ledger says it, right? Like you don't know what the fuck he's gonna do. And
And
you
like
don't know if
we
he
know
wants a
what
dog.
to expect, and Batman knows what to expect. But if you've never seen the Joker outside of the odd headline, like there's no way to feasibly prepare
No.
for what you're going up against, right?
No, absolutely. And then I love in that scene when he grabs Lois and Bruce and they fly out of the thing and then Bruce's face midair, just like he looks like an angry cat, just
Right.
like got picked up like, nah, fuck
He
you.
looks like a pissed off cat that's just been scruffed. It's
Yeah,
adorable.
put me down, get off me. Like he just looks so upset that he got picked up. I do love that. And yeah, I love the feel free to expire anytime. And I think this is where we get the Mercy fight, right? Because this is where Lex calls in
Yeah.
Joker again. He's like, "Yo, you blew up one of my buildings. What the fuck is wrong with you?" And
Yeah.
they just juke it. It was like on site for Mercy. The second she saw Harley, she's like, "It's on site." I'm whooping that ass.
And then you get the Harley completely beat up. Gets that, like, her iconic, like, "A-okay, Mr. J."
It just falls down. And I like
Yeah,
to think that Mercy was
poor
driving the
girl.
car, like, I whooped her ass, right, Lex? He's like, yeah, okay, Mercy, you did. No, 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 I whooped her ass. I won this one. She
Yeah.
didn't sneak me like she did last time. Fuck her. It's like, all right, chill. We got shit we gotta do, man. What the fuck? Calm it down.
Mhm.
But I
Mhm.
do love it's I didn't remember the fight that was funny enough, but like as it's happening in the background, and I had the captions on too, you could hear them like, you stupid, like whatever, and like they're just insulting each other. I think at one point it says like Harleen or like insulting, and then there's it obviously because it's cartoons. I'm more chalk it up to cartoons less than very misogynistic stereotypes with women fighting. But there's the cat sound. I was yeah, I just more I chalked that up playing devil's advocate that was more a cartoon trope of like when people fight and you know see you hear like a trash can fall over in a cat,
Mhm.
then hopefully it's not misogynistic. I would
Yeah.
hope so, but
No,
it's the 90s.
definitely. Yeah, it's the 90s, so, like, we can enjoy and also understand that things can be better. But it is that, like, interesting balance of, like, are they going for, like, typical misogynistic catfight, or are they going for, like, iconic, like, trope of the medium where you have this, like, metal trash can, like, clang and then a cat around, like, because like, both of those could track. Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows?
you never know, but that's such a great fight. And then I love you see even Mercy, like you can tell she won that bout specifically because the only damage she has is I think like her jacket is like a little torn, so you can see
Or
like her arm and her pantyhose are a little ripped because she looked like she need the shit out of like Harley. Harley's fucked up.
and does she still have the, like, bandage around her
Yeah,
forehead
she
or
wears that
under
thing
the
the whole
eye? Yeah,
episode. Yeah, see
I
the
love
whole
that.
movie, she's like wearing that, and then it just increasingly gets worse between every fight or everything that she has to deal with them. Especially at the end, like spoilers, she has like the whole arm brace, and then she laughs. She's like, "Ah, damn it!" Like I want
I
that
mean,
movie. That's what I
right
want.
after that, I want more Mercy. She was great.
Mhm.
Well, just watching her, I was like, "Dang, maybe I should watch all of the Superman animated
It's a good
series."
series.
It's a good series. But right after that, we got the clip of the, like, spider bot thing climbing up the, like, cliffside, and then there's a hard cut to black, and this is, like, the end of the episode of
Yeah,
episode 2 specifically, and I saw it, and, like, so many things, like, I had a, like, brain blast moment because I had always thought that that was such a weird cut, and I was, like, always trying to figure out, like, was this a made for TV movie where, like, it was an advertising cut? I was just, like, so confused because it felt so, like, awkward and clunky to transition to the next scene.
yeah.
And then I was watching it and I saw that scene, I saw the cut, and then it was the end of the episode. And I went,
We ran out of time.
uh, we ran out of
Their
time.
backs where it gets a
We
wall. Like I don't
hard
know where to cut
got
this movie right now. We
we
obviously have
got
to get to the
to
next episode.
episode 3.
Where do we
And I was
stop it?
like,
I guess here. I don't know.
"Oh, that makes so much more sense." Like, that cut felt so clunky, and it was because it was the end of an episode, and they were
Yeah.
jumping to the next one.
I think the only saving grace with that being a jump is that typically, you know, you're not waiting a whole another Saturday to watch this episode. You're watching it literally right after, at least for the premiere event. And hopefully, I know it was on Cartoon Network a couple times as its full movie self. So it should have been there, and the cut would have been still weird, but like not as weird if you're like watching it on Monday and then the next episode's Tuesday. You're like, what the fuck? Why did we end here? Why that's so weird?
Right. And I mean, like, the next episode, you get the last time on, the recap, it's
Hmm.
fine. Like, it sets it up perfectly fine. But if you're watching those 2, like, without any buffer in between, like the credits roll, the previously on the opening credits. You're like, what was that?
Yeah, I do love that. And then we get this really cool, like very typical thing that's done with like Lex and when they team up with like Superman and Batman team up and stuff. It's kind of replicating Batman versus Superman where there's like a problem and a B problem at the same time. Like you got to save this person, but at the same time this is happening. It's very Lex Luthor and Joker actually in a sense. But the ship with the buoy and everything, or like giving out the false thing, and then Batman having to fight this spider thing by himself all over the city with his little like jetpack thing, so he can replicate Superman's flying. I love everything, and I love the little jab he takes at Superman when he sees Lois. He's like, "Hey, only one in the office?" I'm like, no, sir, there's a janitor here. Do you know doesn't care about Earl? He's been putting time in after hours. His kids are in college. What? No one cares. No. Yeah, I'm just by
And
myself. All
then
right.
he immediately makes the like jab of like never around when you need him for Clark.
He's like, sir, he's not even here. That's just you're just angry at this point. Don't take it out on. He's not even here. This joke doesn't work. All right, you're just being fucking a hater. What's your name, Kendrick Lamar? God damn. Jesus.
Jeez. Not to age this episode or anything.
Yeah, it should be relevant still. There'll probably be like 18 more diss tracks by the time this comes out.
God,
I mean, it's put a work in.
God willing.
But I love that because you have a GIF here in our notes, and it's so perfect for this situation. I literally thought it when it happened. The paper press. Now, for
Uh-huh.
anyone younger than us and don't know what a newspaper is, they're printed on these giant machines called paper press that have like these rollers that will suck everything through. Batman's cowl and cape get stuck in it and pull. I thought it ripped it off completely, but it just comes off. Like how? Why is it
Yeah, it
so
just
easy?
unlatches and then the cowl like pops off, you know?
Yeah, it seems
Mhm.
so easy. It's
And
just like how
likes
hard
to
you got
have
pulling that.
quick release so he doesn't get like fucking choked to
Yeah,
death.
that's fair. As I was saying that, you said that I was like, yeah, no, that kind of makes sense. But I love like he's in the middle of fighting this robot, and then Lois sees him was like Bruce, and he's like, oh, like no, protect yourself first. Figure out how to lie later. Just don't be worried that they can see your face. Just fight the goddamn robot real quick. He's able to fight him, but I love how angry Lois is, and this shows like her. Yeah, she should be, and this shows like more of her character. Obviously, we haven't touched upon it too much, but like Lois is one of the best characters in all of DC comics,
Oh,
media in general, and I don't think we've had a version yet that has been done wrong. I think every version has been done incredibly, whether it be like you might not like the material per se, like it might be dated because it's the 50s or like the Fleischer cartoons or anything like that, where it's like a little more damsel in distressy and stuff like that. But every iteration of Lois, I think, has been very perfect for the times, for whatever that show is. Recently, we have like Superman Lois. I'm trying to remember what her name is. Billy, I believe, is the actress's name. She does an amazing job on that show, and what they do with that character in there, and her relationship with Clark and having children and everything like that. Dana Delaney absolutely kills it in this series and in this movie as Lois. She is
Bitsy Tulip?
Bitsy Tillich. There you go. I don't know why I went. You know what's funny? We had
Always
a
forget Tyler Hecklin's like
dude, and
fucking
that's for you for Teen Wolf. I always forget. And me and actually Frank were talking about this because we on Chaos Bringers, cheap plug for our Final Fantasy podcast. But he is one of two people, along with George Newbern, who takes over for Superman later on in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited as Superman, to have both played Superman and the main antagonist of Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth. That's a weird ass connection. Both Tyler Hoechlin and George Newbern have both played these like the altruistic best possible, the epitome of hope and the epitome of despair in two different
right.
mediums. It's beautiful. It's perfect that they have both voiced these characters. But yeah, Tyler
I
Hoechlin is
love
Superman in that series. It's crazy. But Dana is so amazing as this version of Lois. Terry Hatcher in the '90s as in that series, fuck Dean Cain. I mean he's a good Superman, just not a good person. Um, just everyone that's played Lois, even the always the criticism for me at least with Lois is that they don't give her enough depending on the medium that we're watching. Like Superman Returns, unfortunately, she doesn't get a lot to do in that movie. I'm trying to remember who played her in that off the top of my head, but she doesn't unfortunately get enough to do in that movie. But she has a pretty good portrayal. You know, everyone who's played her, and Dana is like one of the top class. She doesn't get mentioned much,
Absolutely.
and she
She's
she
incredible.
really,
She's like when I think of Lois, she's who I think of.
that
And
just her voice is so perfect for that character. She has that snark to her. She has the she's very altruistic and she's very truthful to who she is, right? She's very, I don't take no bullshit. You in, you out. What is going on here?
this incredible hardness while also having such a gentle touch in a way that's so beautiful. Like that the vocal performance is phenomenal. And I mean, I think it really helps that she's written incredibly well in this universe. I think they give her a very strong Lois. She's a very strong independent person, was a very clear um asset to the narrative,
Hmm.
and but really the performance is so incredible. She kills it
Yeah,
every time.
I love around here right before she sees, you know, she finds out Bruce is Batman, and right before Clark goes to save the liner, like the ship out in sea, there is the talk of Lois leaving, like because his romance has gone so quickly and so fast. It's only been a
Yeah.
week, but it kind of also speaks to Lois's character. At first, it might seem like a little rush, but Lois is no nonsense. She comes from a military family. Like she's used to moving around and moving fast. So, and
If she has the opportunity in the career, won't suffer for it, why not move to Gotham for a bit?
exactly, so she
See
has
how
the
it plays out.
opportunity, and she kind of breaks
Yeah.
that news to Clark. And I love there. I think it's subtle, but I feel like there is like a sadness to it because she has this friendship at least with Clark. She doesn't know he's Superman, and this is the person that she's falling for, but she does have this fondness for this fucking dumbass farm boy that is, yeah,
No,
a
that's
pretty
it. Yeah.
pretty good reporter. But she's like, hey, look, with me out of the picture, you'll be the number one reporter. And I was like,
Mhm.
she ain't lying. That's what it needs to take. She's that damn good.
Yeah.
She's that good. She's better than someone with fucking superpowers at breaking stories. You know, that's why she's the best
Right.
reporter in the
She
DC
has
universe.
the most inside scoop of all inside scoops, and yet
Yeah,
she's still killing it.
yeah, exactly. She's that damn talented, and I love.
I mean, to be fair, she does have more time to dedicate to Clark's out here pulling double duty,
Yeah,
but still.
and that's with her being a bad speller canonically in every universe. That she sucks at spelling.
We
God,
love a dyslexic queen.
hell yeah, man. But I love post seeing, you know, finding out Bruce is Batman and kind of piecing all that together. I love there is this tenderness that comes from her from fixing his wound. It is kind of a
Mhm.
very touching moment, and Batman's allowing it to happen. Probably the only other person other than Alfred who's like cleaned up a
Or
wound for.
Leslie.
Oh yeah, or Leslie. Yeah, I always
Respect
forget.
on micro
Hell yeah,
Leslie.
she's not in the movies. That's why I think about it. And she needs to be more of a character in more media.
I when I was going through the animated series, I was like guideline and I saw like 3 or 4 episodes with Leslie in it and they weren't on. We're watching these
Yeah.
episodes. I love her so much.
Yeah, there's one specifically where she's helping orphans in Gotham. It's a really cool episode where they get to play around with the multiverse, and you get like a Dark Knight Returns Batman scenario in that episode. It's really good. But there is there's like a tenderness from both sides too. Like Batman's allowing this. He I love this is when my wife started watching with me. And Tara started laughing her ass off when like she like hardly puts like the patch on him to like, or like when anti like septic
Yeah.
stuff on him, and he like winces. He's like, ah, and she's like,
Yeah.
oh, you deserve better or whatever. And she's like, I love Lois. I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
because I married Lois, so yeah, I married someone like her for a reason. Shout out to Tara. She always keeps
You
me on my
understand
toes.
yourself.
Yeah, but that's, I was like, that's something she would do to me. Like if I was some dumbass dressing up like a bat fighting crime, she's like, you're an idiot. You got a cut on your back again. But then I love the ability when she like in the scene as well, like when you know, we talked about like I wish, you know, we could mix and match or whatever. And there's like she's gonna be pissed when I leave, right? She's gonna be furious. And he puts the cape and cowl on, and she looks at him and she's like, And she like accepts it very quickly. Like, I understand you are
Mm,
Batman. You
she
have to
knows
do
it.
this. There's no
Yeah.
fighting. Obviously,
Mm.
she's not going to be part of this life, as we see at the end of the episode.
Right. She makes a comment like, "There's nothing I can do to stop you or change your mind or whatever." And she's understanding
Yeah,
what this guy is about.
yeah,
Like,
because
obviously, she wishes it was different, but she's not gonna put up a fight she knows she's never
yeah.
gonna win.
But at the same time, she also doesn't fall in this place. Like, I'm not going to wait for you. Like, I'm not going to be part of this life. This is not part of my life, which later on will be funny. But but like, I'm not gonna be part of this life with you. Like, I understand you have a duty. You have to be Batman. I'm not upset by that. But
Yeah,
I'm not gonna stay around and wish and pine for you. Like, no, no, no. I got my own life, bro. I got to pull it to the win.
I got more important shit to do.
Hell yeah, man. That's why Lois is a fucking badass. But yeah, this is where we kind of get the end of the episode right here, and this is like a really kind of action packed thing. It's kind of fun. I love Harley painting this giant bomber. It looks like teeth.
Oh, okay. That was the other conversation point I had that I forgot to when I was watching this movie way too late last. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Which naming convention works better, in your opinion?
Mm.
Is it adding bat before every single adjective or adding L for Lex before every single like Ellsworth,
Oh,
Elwing, like all of these things are like L whatever. Or is it
yeah.
like bat plane, Batmobile, bat desk, like
So I liked it. I guess because I grew up with it more, and I really this was a revelation to me at this moment that you said that. 'Cause I didn't even put two and two together. I like the bat naming more. Oh, also because there's like bat shark repellent and stupid shit like that from like different multiverses. But you just saying that just blew my mind because I never thought of it like that. Lex, it must be a pompous rich boy fucking thing to do.
yeah.
Cause it
I
even
mean,
to a
like,
certain yeah, go
he's
ahead.
got Wayne Corp, like, he's got his dad's name, like, I'll give him that,
Yeah,
like,
you
how
inherited that
he
one.
yeah, you
Lex
inherit
turns
it.
like Luthor Corp to Lex Corp. Like he
Yeah,
doesn't have. He could keep it Luthor Corp. He's like, nah, that's my dad. Fuck him. I don't like that motherfucker.
right, exactly.
There's some, and then even thinking about like semi rich people, right? In Mr. Terrific, Michael Holt, right? He makes the T spheres for Terrific and stuff. Like, all right, dude, you have enough money. You're rich enough, bro. You don't have to do this. Like, this everyone is rich that does that. I don't think Oliver Queen does that, right?
I don't think
He calls
Oliver
everything
Queen enough
Arrow, but
people.
he's just stupid.
Yeah, he doesn't have the foresight to have a naming
You want to talk about
convention.
himbos in the DC universe? Oliver Queen's a himbo. Not
You wanna talk
the
about fuckboys in the DC universe.
hell yeah, man. Jesus, he's one of the worst ones too.
Yeah. China
Bruce
deserves
pretends to
better,
be a
not gonna
slut.
lie.
Yeah, Batman pretends to be a slut. Oliver Queen is a slut, and
He is a slut.
that's only because he cheated on Black Canary. Don't you don't do that to Dinah?
You don't. No,
No,
China
sir.
deserves way better.
And she knows it. She knows.
He knows it
She puts
too.
up with
That's
his
the worst
fucking
part.
stupid ass because he makes her laugh. But
Not
yeah,
gonna lie.
I love this bombing scene. It's really good. It's a decent fight. Good like back and forth. They do a really good job of like setting the stakes up high. I do love Mercy grabbing. He doesn't even think about grabbing Joker at all. He's not necessarily. And this is like a over emphasized version of like Batman Begins, where he's like, I don't have to save you, but I don't have to. You know, I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you. And him like flying away dramatically as Liam Neeson dies. This is more like, oh, I got it. I'll get Lex, or you get Lex. I'll get Mercy. I was like, yo, what
Mhm.
about Joker? He's like, dude, who
Who
questioned
fucking
it?
cares?
And
No.
then, or Harley, yeah. And then he gets Harley, and I had to write this down. And Harley
Mhm.
screams, Puddin'. And Batman goes,
He
at
probably
this
is.
point, he probably is. I was like, God damn, Bruce. And he smiles.
It's
He
the
fucking
third time
smiles.
Joker's died at this point.
He's a
It's
sassy bitch in
hilarious.
this movie. You said it earlier in the episode, but like this is like the point where it's like the sassiest.
Oh yeah. My
Puddin', he
favorite
probably is.
my favorite sassy moment is in this like sequence as well. But it's when they're in the L plane and they're trying to figure out how to fly the fucker. Lex goes, "It's a red switch." And Joker goes, "Which red?" Ah, fuck. Oh, to heck with it, and just all of them.
And that doesn't really necessarily beat the allegations that he's a dog chasing a car. That's more of a cat just causing chaos. He's like, fuck it, I don't know what I'm doing. Smash.
Wiper, yeah. He's the meme of a cat like knocking a water glass.
Yes. There's a scene coming up in one of our future movies, TMT Batman, that's very similar to this with
Mhm.
Michelangelo, and it's one of my favorite scenes ever. And I can't wait till you see it because it's so perfectly voice cast too. When we get to that's a decent cast for that. But yeah, that's the end of the episode. Batman and Superman have become friends. They don't want to do this more often though, they say, because there's that
Now,
rivalry. Yeah, yeah, okay. You know how easy it is for Superman to fly to the cave? Come on, man.
right?
And Alfred loves Clark. I love how much he loves Clark canonically. I love he'll make him sandwiches just for him. Like he's excited, like, oh, my son's friend's coming over. I like this kid. He lets my son go out and play and not brood in his room all day.
Right.
Alfred definitely looks like one of those parents that when like the other kid that's like excelling in school comes over, because I've had this happen to me. Be like, why can't you be more like Clark? Like to Bruce.
I love Alfred. He had a great moment in
Oh
this,
yeah.
where he was like, what did he say? "If I may be so bold," and I was like, "Alfred, you raised this motherfucker. You may be so
You
bold.
could do whatever you want to say. You wiped his ass.
That is your child."
Yeah.
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 But I love, like, his, like, absolute sass in the buttoned up, like, demure, like, British, like, this servant role, and he's
Hmm.
like, "I'm gonna tear you to shreds, but I'm gonna do it respectfully."
I know this has never been a thing, whether it be animated or comic books or anything, but I need someone to write, whether it's for some anniversary special or anything like similar to what Greg did for the Joker 80th anniversary, and Greg and Gary or whatever for that, where there was a really fun like little couple page thing. I need something where it's like Alfred, Ma, and Pa Kent all hanging out, because like honestly, as a parent now, right? Like yeah, you see that. Like
Mhm.
as a parent now, they're like I think I have a kids party this Saturday, dating myself, but like I haven't really interacted with that parent at often.
Mhm.
Like, but my son is this is like his best friend in school. So like I'm gonna and it's fine. I've met them, talked to them a couple times, but like I'm gonna have to interact. But like I would love to see all these parents of these superheroes just interacting, and just not a lot to be fair.
I'm
Most
gonna search that fic later.
There has to be. You gotta tell me if there is one, because like I feel like Alfred, like Martha, and what's I'm trying to think of Podkins name, Jonathan Kent, would all
Oh,
just
yeah,
like,
I
eh,
should know that. I knew Martha's name.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, BVS. I'll never forget that name ever.
Right.
um, but I feel like they would just get along, and I know they all come from different walks of life, but I just feel like they would just bond over how crazy their kids are, and how fun they are, and like telling crazy ass story like Bon Pot Kent do in that Christmas episode of Justice League when they're embarrassing Clark in front of Martian Manhunter. I love that episode so goddamn much.
So good.
So good. But yeah, this is fun. This is their first team up, but first of many, because we, spoilers know that there's a league that gets formed later on and it gets expanded with unlimited members. Um, let's move on to drama class now that we've gushed over this movie so much.
God,
Uh,
I
it,
love this movie
it's
so much.
so good. So I drank all my drinks. So I can't keep drinking, but I drank both my drinks.
I have, like, 2 sips left.
There's like there's a sliver there. As you know, drama class, we always act out our favorite scenes from these movies. These brilliant movies are done again from the amazing Andrea Romano, who is the voice director, and she just kills it. Like she knows, like between the script writers, the direction, she gives these actors, they just amazing. So let's start here with the opening Air Force One scene. Slide, do
Mhm.
you want to be the terrorist or Lois Lane?
I want you to be Lois,
Oh yeah.
honest. Alright. So the terrorist hijacking, Air Force One was like, "Let's make an example out of this hero." Shoves Lois back in, like, buckles her in, straps her down. A very tragic example, I'm afraid. Miss
Lane.
Lane? Lois Lane? The one Superman always saves?
Right, so man, I was
I love,
like,
like,
ah,
I'm afraid so. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I guess he always
you,
does save me.
yeah,
Wonder
you
why
got.
that is.
Yeah, you got the wrong hostage, sir. You and I earlier drafted my notes that I happened to lose, but I had that scene, and then the next line was like, "You done fucked up, AA Ron." Like,
Yeah.
dude, Superman just comes in with like an anger and force that is unlike like, what are you doing? And I loved it when
Eyes
the
blazing. He's like,
when the plane flips, and he's like, "Oh, thanks for putting my seatbelt on." Sir, there's multiple people with guns towards you. Why, or ma'am, like, why are you saying this? And then it's like, well, you're a military brat. That would make sense. Your daddy was
yeah,
a Marine, of
good
course.
track.
You're tougher than most Marines, honestly. Don't kill me, Joey, if you're listening to this. Who is my best friend and is also a Marine. Uh,
Yeah,
next
I bet
we,
Lois could take him.
yeah, all those kids, yeah, 100%. No offense again. No offense, Joey. Okay. Next we got Joker and Lex. Meeting for the first time in interacting. Who do you want to play?
I'll take Lex. Why
Okay,
not?
okay, okay. Pay me $1 billion and I'll kill Superman.
What makes you think you can kill Superman when you can't even handle a mere mortal in a Halloween costume?
There is nothing mere about that mortal. Good wordplay
True.
from Joker. Yeah. God.
Right? There's another oh, it was Clark. It wasn't Joker. But there was one point where he rhymes like something about the door and Luthor, and that one got a chuckle out of me.
There's a couple of lines that legit made me like laugh. We covered them obviously like with the AOK, Mr. Joker, everything like that. But I know the put in and yeah, I'm sure he is now. All right, next we have Clark and Bruce when they're kind of talking in
Right.
code about the Joker. Who would you like to play?
They're in civvies for this one.
I know.
Hmm. I guess I have the red lights. I'll go for Superman.
Okay.
Rock the bird. Alright. Any sign of the comedian?
Green Knights and not so much as a green hair.
Hmm. Of course, you have been dividing your time between Lois.
Is that a problem?
Let's just say I'm concerned. Your reputation is dubious, in and out of costume.
Don't worry, I'm taking Lois quite seriously. Besides, it seems to me you had your chance.
You
Fucking
tell her. Both of them you
sassy.
tell.
I love to also see there's got to be some random like somebody from Metropolis or some other like there's other newspapers in that place. And like global broadcasting, just like walk by, I was like, "Yo, is that Clark Kent talking to Bruce Wayne? How the fuck?" You're like, "Damn it!" And then someone's just angry, like, "He's gonna get that scoop, son of a bitch."
Right?
Like, I hate that
Meanwhile,
farm
I'm in
boy.
the background going, now kiss.
Yeah, just the Mike Tyson, a kid. Me.
But
All right, as always, we kind of brought this over from MC University, but there's a quiz time. These movies have been a little shorter, which is fine. Tight 90s, 80 minutes. They've been amazing. Doesn't leave too much for quiz times. I feel like once we get to a little more structured movies, we'll get some like that. And once they start adding more Easter eggs,
the trivia for this one was, hey, fun fact, this is 3 episodes.
yeah, this is 3 episodes, not one
Breaking
movie.
news to me personally.
So, Sly, let's start with your final thoughts on Batman Superman movie World's Finest.
I love this movie so much. Hold on, I gotta take the final drink of this.
I'll pretend.
I love this movie so much. It was such a nostalgia filled classic. I'm so thankful it held up in every single way. It was such a gem to enjoy as a kid. Like it had everything you could ever. in a film. Like the action's great, the storylines, the narrative is fascinating. We love seeing these characters come together and how they bring out their the personalities of each other. And revisiting this as an adult, it was so incredible to catch all of the things that, went over your head as a kid. And it just brought me so much joy to revisit something that I loved so, so dearly. And to come away from it, like, loving it even more, I didn't think was possible. Like, honestly, I was a little nervous about this one. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna remember it. I don't know if I'm gonna like it as much as I thought I did. And, like, spoiler alert, I liked it even more than I thought I did. It's so great, and it's definitely one I will revisit for years to come, and I highly recommend it. If for some reason you haven't watched this movie, you haven't seen these episodes of the show, like, 100%, like, go watch this fucking movie. It's iconic, it's so perfect. There's so many little details that are just so quality that like you can latch onto throughout. Something we didn't even mention, like my favorite thing is like the shot of the Joker blimp over the city.
Oh
Like it's
yes.
visually so iconic. And there's all these like really cool, great moments in this like gem of a film. And I need everybody to watch this movie and to gush with me about how much you love this movie because I love it so much. It's so good. Um, Hopefully the next one measures up. We'll see.
I know that's the worrying thing because I'm very excited when, but there's a few movies like when we looked at and we divided like what we're how we're gonna tackle all these DC animated movies, and obviously I've talked a lot about TMNT versus Batman. I'm very excited when we get there. There's Justice League Doom. There's a bunch of movies I'm very excited. Killing Joke. I'm excited to revisit that because there's a
Joke.
there's some stuff we
Joke.
talked about in, Sub Zero that's gonna resurface in that movie, and I
Mhm.
wanted to see it again post. Like I've only seen it one time, and I want to see it post like the controversy. You know, Under the Red Hood we talked about. There's a bunch of movies, but this is one that popped up early in our list, and I was like, oh, I'm really excited to revisit this and watch this again. And it really does hold up, like you said. This is a perfect movie to just, if you want to get an idea of who Batman and Superman is, just throw this on. Like if you know, hey, the typical All Star Superman, origin, Doom Planet, kindly family, reporter, now he's Superman kind of deal, you know, Batman, parents kill in an alleyway, vows vengeance. As long as you know that basic concept, you can go in this movie and find out everything you need to know. Like Lex, Joker, Harley, Mercy, these villains. You get great action, great banter. You understand where the rivalry slash friendship slash brotherhood comes from with them. Lois is fucking amazing, as we mentioned multiple times, and I think not to even diminish Sub Zero because we actually I think came out more positive than we initially were going into that movie. I definitely felt that way.
It's great.
But
Yeah.
Mask of the Phantasm and the Batman Superman movie, like a 1-2 punch of that's like a great way to get yourself into this universe. And honestly, with those two movies right there, you got maybe not even 2 hours of content, and then you're gonna be hooked and want to watch, multiple series of shows, let alone the rest of these movies. It stands out. It's surprisingly good.
And like again, I mentioned having the DVD with me and like this and the Justice League animated show. Like those were the two like real touch points within like this Deniverse like universe of content. The other DVD that almost always was in the rotation to travel with me was this season one of the Batman, the animated TV show from 2004. So I
Yes.
had like this in this universe and then the Batman, which I love so dearly. We're not gonna get to we are gonna get to one thing set in that
Yeah, there's actually a
and
movie
I
set in the
didn't know
universe.
it existed, and I can't wait. We'll get there in like 3 to 5 business years.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, I love this movie so much. Like you said, it made me want to like sit down and jump into the Spider-Man, Superman animated show so badly because like I was like, damn, like I love this universe. I want more of it. But yeah, great time all around. Like
Yeah.
you said, such an approachable movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited to see if the next one holds up too. Because there's one I've only seen once, and I feel like it came out positive enough, but I think these next two are gonna, they're a little middle of the ground. I think at least if I remember correctly, watching them. But next we're gonna be watching Superman Brainiac Attacks. Again, this is another Diniverse movie. Where can you find it? You know, we'll see. We'll see. There's not a special episode or two in Max, and David Zaslav apparently doesn't love content on his own platform, so fuck it. Who knows? Uh, we'll find out when that time comes, and hopefully, when his episode comes, maybe it is on Max. Maybe it is. Who knows?
Maybe. Who knows?
Hopefully so. But before we end this episode, Sly, where can people find you?
Yep, you can find me here at Point in Progress on the Point in Progress podcast, which is obviously the network that we host this lovely show on. You can also find me, as I'm about to sneeze, on We'll Throw the After Party at After Party SHO. And over on that YouTube is where we're hosting Thirsty Thursday, which is JJ and I's drunken recaps of 911 and 911 Lone Star, who featured the one and only Lisa Edelstein from this movie.
Oh yeah.
Um, who, unfortunately her character's not really around anymore. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not devastated about it at all. But yeah, you can catch JJ and I going live right after the episode. By the time this comes out, we'll be on hiatus. So who knows
I
what
was
I'm
like, yeah, the
talking
season will be over at that point, right? It'd be,
But you can go catch the recaps from all of our
yeah, there
season
you go.
7 thoughts. And you can come hang out and see whatever the fuck we're talking about on hiatus.
There you go. There you go. Hey, for me, you can always find me. I'm here now on Point of Progress. You can find me. This is week 3 of DC Graduates, so you can find me here. And I'm on some random episodes, just having fun. But if you love Point of Progress and you want to see more of some of the folks, me, Frank, and Harv have a Final Fantasy retrospective podcast series called Chaos Bringers. As of this recording, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth should be done. I should be, because I literally PlayStation's right there, and I'm on chapter 13, and I have to get that done. So maybe we'll have more guests on that episode. I'm hoping to reach out to some people for that one, but then we'll have maybe Final Fantasy 5 and maybe 6 by then when this releases. So hopefully we'll be on a good pace to the rest of the Final Fantasy series. But as well, you can find me youtube.com/nerdyday with all my little nerdy content over there, recaps, meaning ofs, and things like that. And then as well, you can find my wrestling podcast if you love professional wrestling at Apron Work Podcast. Again, hopefully we're back at this point. We've been talking for a while, and I think we're finally settling on a schedule. So hopefully by the time this comes out, we have a couple episodes in the can, including our 100th episode. But till next time, students, class is dismissed, and we'll see you next week.